Natural food brands rarely fail because people stop caring about healthier food. They fail because they lose focus. The portfolio gets fat, economics get weak, and everyone calls it a marketing problem. I'm Joshua Tabin, CEO of Wild Zora. A rebuild is not just a new logo. It's an operational reality. We have to face the hard truths of the foundation. When SKU count explodes and margins thin, you aren't just losing money, you're losing your identity. Marketing isn't the cure for bad math. You can't spend your way out of structural failure. Fixing a brand requires hard operational discipline, not just a louder ad campaign. It's about cutting the fat and fixing economics to become viable for retailers and consumers again. A rebuild makes the brand choosable again. Visibility is not value. Your brand did not die. It stopped being chosen. We must build back trust. It's time to make it choosable again. This is Chapter 1. Welcome to Choosable Again. Today, we diagnose the whole system. Stop guessing and start measuring. Treat your brand as one operating system. We're performing an autopsy on the workflow. Collect evidence, not opinions. Intuition is a data point, but facts are the diagnosis. 5-part audit. 1. Demand. Is the market asking for this? 2. Differentiation. Why you? 3. Velocity. How fast is the system? 4. Economics. Does the math work at scale? 5. Execution. Can you deliver? Every link in the chain must hold. You have 3 customers. The shopper in the aisle and the buyer at their laptop both seek clarity. Then there's the reviewer. Their friction is the final piece of evidence. Find the patterns. Rank the constraints. The top bottleneck becomes the blueprint for your rebuild. Let's get to work. Most natural food positioning is a beige cloud of admirable adjectives. But here's the truth. Admirable is not the same as differentiated. When you hide behind a cloud of buzzwords, you aren't choosing a side. You're just becoming part of the background noise. To be choosable, you must sharpen the promise. You need one person, one problem, and one promise. That is it. Force these elements into language a shopper would actually say. If a stranger cannot repeat it after 3 seconds, it is decoration. Think like a tired parent. They don't want holistic wellness at 5 p.m. They want a solution that works right now. The 3-second test determines your survival. Admirable is fine, but differentiation is what puts you in the cart. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. Sharpen the promise until it cuts through the beige cloud of admirable adjectives. One person, one problem, one promise. That is how you become choosable again. The easiest way to look innovative is more products. But be careful. The easiest way to destroy a small CPG is also more products. We think variety is strength, but complexity is a tax. To survive, you have to score your SKUs and prune the weight. Every SKU pays rent. If a product isn't earning its spot on the shelf and in your warehouse, it's a liability, not an asset. These are zombie SKUs. They look like growth, but they are just passengers, draining your signal and your cash flow. We rebuild the portfolio using 3 clear tiers: the hero, the helpers, and the halo. Each has a specific job to do. The hero is your anchor. Helpers reinforce the core promise. The halo creates the brand's aura. Everything else is noise. Once you have your tiers, apply the matrix to every single item. Keep, fix, test, or retire. No exceptions. Keep the heroes. Fix the few with potential. Test the experiments. Retire the passengers. This is how you reclaim your margins. Fewer SKUs means more signal. It means your customers can actually choose you again without being overwhelmed. Chapter 4. The pruning. Remember, every SKU pays rent. Stop letting passengers drive your brand. Gross revenue is a charming liar. It looks impressive on a dashboard, but top-line growth often masks the hidden costs that actually define your success. Think of your revenue as a single large block. It's the starting point, but it's far from the finish line. First, discounts and landed costs are deducted. These are the immediate trade-offs that most businesses recognize, yet often underestimate. Then, Fulfillment and waste erode the pile further. These operational frictions are what truly determine what is left to fund the company. What remains is your contribution. This is the oxygen for your business. But even this number is incomplete without context. When your production capacity is tight, time becomes your most expensive currency. Every hour must be treated as a scarce asset. The true north for a constrained operation is not just margin percent, it's contribution dollars generated per scarce production hour. This shift changes everything. A high-margin product that ties up your line for 10 hours may be less valuable than a lower-margin one that takes only 2. Don't chase revenue for vanity. Optimize for the value captured by your most constrained resources to ensure your business is truly choosable again. In the end, it's not how much you sell, it's how much contribution you harvest from every precious hour of effort. To be choosable again, you must move through 3 stages: seen, understood, and believed. It starts with the package, the silent salesman. At 3 feet, the pack must win attention. This is the appetite phase. If you aren't seen, you don't exist. Attention is the first barrier, but winning eyes is only half the battle. Explain the promise instantly once they look. At 3 inches, consumers lean in. They must understand what you offer. This is the promise phase. Clarity is everything. Translate that initial appetite into a clear, credible promise. If they hunt for it, they walk away. At 160 pixels, the thumbnail, the pack must close the sale. This is the proof phase, the moment of decision. If your brand name dies at thumbnail size, you aren't ready. Test your assets. Zoom out until the name is barely legible. Run a grayscale test. Remove the color. Hierarchy and identity must hold up. Seen, understood, believed. Respect the 3 distances. And you'll be choosable every time. Choosable again. Design for the distance. One brand. Different jobs. We often think of retail, marketplaces, DTC, and content as interchangeable pipes for the same product. But that is a fundamental design error. Your channel architecture isn't just about moving volume. It's about designing 4 distinct doors that lead to one promise, each serving a specific purpose. Retail is your trial engine. It's where the physical brand promise is tested for the first time by new consumers. Marketplaces capture intent. When a customer knows what they need, the marketplace is there to fulfill that demand. Direct-to-consumer is your retention engine. This is where you own the relationship and the customer data. And content is your proof. It provides the context and validation that lets every other channel to function effectively. When you treat these doors as interchangeable pipes, you train consumer distrust. You cannot promise one thing at retail and another through your content without eroding your brand. Build an architecture of trust. Because when your channels work together, you stay choosable again. Welcome to Chapter 8 of Choosable Again. Today, we're diving into how you build demand through repeatable mechanisms. The demand engine relies on a trial, a proof, and then conversion. Without these steps, growth is just luck. But here's the secret. Taste is the only unpaid media that actually compounds over time. Sampling without capture is theater. If you aren't capturing the data from that taste, you're just putting on a show. A repeatable mechanism moves people from that first conversion into a repeat cycle and, ultimately, a referral. And when the feedback isn't great, answer those ugly reviews like an adult. That transparency is what builds real trust. Turning a critic into an advocate is the fastest way to fuel your referral engine. Trial, proof, conversion, repeat, referral. That is the engine of a brand that wins. Never forget, taste is unpaid media. It's the most powerful tool you have. Build mechanisms, not theater. I'll see you in the next chapter. In operations, we have to face a hard truth. The plant is the brand. If your manufacturing process fails, your brand promise fails right along with it. Take the freeze dryer. If this machine is down, the entire brand is down. It is the heart of the operation and the ultimate constraint. You have to understand, a promise you cannot make is just a lie you've scheduled. Reliability isn't an accident, it's a design choice. When your OTIF, your on-time in-full delivery slips, you aren't just missing a shipment. You are eroding the trust your brand was built on. To fix this, you must plan from the constraint. The dryer dictates the pace. Everything else in the plant must move to its rhythm. Use a constraint board to visualize the flow. If you don't manage the bottleneck will manage you. And when capacity is tight, you must protect your hero SKUs. Those are the products that define your brand. They get priority every time. Finally, implement exception management. It requires 3 things: one owner, one threshold, and one response. No ambiguity, control the plant, and you control your future. Because in the end, the plant is the brand. Plan from the constraint and stay choosable. Welcome back. Today we're diving into the 90-day rebuild, the framework to make your brand choosable again. The first 30 days are about one thing: diagnosis. You have to understand exactly where the friction is before you can fix it. From day 31 to 60, we rebuild. This is where you audit the portfolio, tighten the pack, and fix the underlying economics. It's not just about looks, it's about the offer. If the economics don't work, the brand won't either. Finally, days 61 through 90 are for scaling the winners. Once you've found what works, you lean in hard. But beware the traps. Do not mood board a corpse, and don't waste time rebranding an empty warehouse. Don't launch 7 flavors just to avoid making a choice. And for heaven's sake, do not hide the food. The goal is simple: rebuild until the customer has no choice but to pick you again. Every move must serve that purpose. Simplify your operations until the customer can feel the difference and your profit and loss can prove it. That's the standard. I'm Joshua Tabin. This is for the operators who are ready to rebuild. Let's get to work.